It's time for Transport Line, the program that showcases the contributions of all modes of transportation to the socio-economic growth and development of our country, Africa, and the rest of the world. Transport Line is being beamed to you from the Center of Excellence, the state of aquatic splendor, and Africa's fifth largest economy, Lagos. I am Shina Ilegbede, and thanks for being part of the program. Today, Transport Line is going to focus on the potentials of Nigeria's inland waterways, how we are going to harness it. Two fundamental issues are germane in Nigeria today: insecurity and food insecurity. But only few realize that there is a lot of potentials on the rivers, creeks, canals, lagoons, and waterways we have in Nigeria if we properly harness them. Well, I have with me in the studio as guest a professor of transportation from the School of Transportation and Logistics, Lagos State University, Ojo, an heritage scholar and a friend of the house, Professor Samuel Gbadebo Odeunmi is my guest. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you, Prof.
Yes, sir.
Prof, how do we really harness the potentials of Nigerian inland waterways, taking into cognizance that everybody knows that Nigeria is a maritime state?
Yes. When we say inland waterways, because people tend to mix the two, we are concentrating today on the inland waters, not the maritime, yes, international waters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so many things resides in the waters. In terms of protein, the fish, the minerals, and as a means of transportation. And you know, if there is a major plank of economic activities, it is transportation. We always say that transportation is the artery through which all economic activities flows. Without it, economic freezes. Even social life freezes. You won't be able to do your owambe, you won't be able to go to school, you won't be able to go to church, you won't be able to go to work. So if you really want your economy to boom and to flow very well, you must solve your transportation. And there are several modes of transportation: air, rail, land, road, and water, the one we are concentrating today. And in Nigeria, besides the long coastline, we also have so many tributaries and rivulets. In fact, Nigeria's geography is defined by its major rivers, Niger and Benue. Those are the major. But on each of these major arteries, there are so many other rivulets, the Osun, the Adeja, everywhere, that the entire country is networked. So the question which you ask is, how do we use this to, how do we harness this to solve our socio-economic activity, to enhance it, and for us to benefit fully in what nature has endowed us with? Because it's not just enough for nature to endow you with something. How you will harness it, it has to be your own ingenuity. If you do not add your brain to your resources, you will not have access to it. So for the inland, I will take three key ones. I can go up to 20 as the question arises. The first, I will always say, is the roadmap. We need to have a policy that is well articulated. The last time I was here, we were discussing the policy of Lagos State And we give them 20 kudos.
Yeah, the transportation policy
Yes,
of Lagos State.
the transportation policy of Lagos, that was around May last year. Because they are the first to be able to roll out a transportation policy. Nigeria, the federal government is still struggling to get its own policy. The draft is ready, but to get the National ESCO to pass it is the challenge. And I told you last time that we were on it since 1993. We have had generation of scholars that have worked on this, but we are still working on it to be able to get. So for me, that's the first thing, because it defines on what you intend to do, how you want to do it, and the timelines. So once you get that right, the next thing that is most important, that we normally consider the biggest variable in any discussion of transportation, is the man. So we need enlightenment, education, and enforcement of the rules that we have articulated to manage that particular. So the training of the operators, the training of all the stakeholders, enlightening them on what needs to be done, on safety, on timing, on scheduling, on the type of boat, the material they use to make it. Those are the things that is next to it. Then the third stage is the infrastructural facilities. Because our roads in this, our waters, inland waters, they are very, very seasonal. So you really have to keep them navigable throughout the season.
All season.
Yeah, all seasons. And the first ingredient is the channelization and dredging. When you dredge, you must maintain. After the dredging, you have to do the ports along, because the ferries are not going to be running. Yes, the jetties and the ports, because some of them are big, like Lokoja, like Baro, like Onitsha. These are inland ports. And if you can make them sufficiently adequate to take big transportation, your containers, your barges, especially agricultural products. Because the reason why the prices are high
of the foodstuff
in the cities is because of the cost of transportation.
Yeah.
And if you are talking in terms of cost-benefit analysis, water is one of the cheapest, followed by rail, then by road. So if we can get our water, especially water traverses the rural areas. In fact, 75% of the river banks are agricultural farms. They are plantations. So if you can get the water running, you don't need to bring your trailer, then load it, then send it back to the cities. You can easily ferry it down at a very cheap rate. You remember the log of food that people used to ferry down the river. It just floats down. They latch it together. They allow you to free. That's free transportation because our people are smart. So we need to do that to ensure that the agricultural product can get to the right place at the right time. So the ports, the channel itself, which we call the route, and the ports, which we call the terminal. Then the next one is the signals. Because just like the road, you have to do what we call putting your signals, your beacons, so that the boats and the ferries that are running, they will know the landmarks, they will know the dangerous bends, they will be warned on time that, look, there's going to be a rapid. In the next 2 or 3 kilometers, you have to slow down and ensure you don't flow with the full rapid of the water. So
that is navigational aid.
Navigational aid has to be there. So once you get these 3 things in place, the policy, human element, empowerment, enlightenment, education, and enforcement, then of course you now build the infrastructure. Those are the 3 fundamental things. As we go along, I can go on listing other elements.
Prof, I want us to really harp on of the 3 E's you've highlighted. The human element.
Yeah.
How do we get them to make sure that we really explore and exploit the potentials, the benefits of these inland waterways?
Yeah. You see, the human element is so crucial in the sense that even if you buy 20 ferries and you give it to half-drunk operators or people who are not knowledgeable about the maintenance of this equipment, very soon they get damaged. So that is why we always say that besides the major factor that we call man, there are other things that surrounds it. The issue of PPP, that is bringing other private sector to join. Then stakeholders engagement. The NIWA, that is the agency, and I forgot that because NIWA is an institution
It's
that
central to all this.
is central to managing the inland waterways, because it is not a no man's land. NIWA is, is statutorily encumbered with all the elements of getting our waterways to work, and their laws, then their funding, their offices. Look at all the accidents that have been happening on the waterways. It is the NIWA that should be able to do the research and give the laws, the rules of the game, so that it is NIWA that will tell us we are doing the dredging on Osun River, we are doing this on that. So NIWA needs to be either empowered or asked to wake up. If they have empowered them, they are not in the forefront as they should be, because I only know when they are having some issues with LASWA, and by any standard, I may not be able to say whether it's lack of funding or lack of expertise, or lack of sufficient personnel to monitor. LASWA is doing so well that there are one or two things they could borrow, but it's usually the scheme of who has the ability to mine, who has the ability to collect licenses and all that. So NIWA is very crucial, and they are the ones who organize the PPP and the licensing, because they have to do licensing, the standardization of the vehicles that they will be using. Then, of course, we have to really monetize. That is, and that's very core to your question today. Commercialization of the waterways. Make it, I remember Dr. Adeshina, when he became Minister of Agric, he said Agric is not a social effort. It's not a charity thing. This is business. So water transportation is business. And the NIWA is going to should band how to make it into a huge commercial activities, passenger traffic, freight, tourism, and if you attack these three, people, freight, and tourism, our waterways should become a huge activities. And you see, if you can also guarantee safety on waterways, a whole lot of employment could be generated in that ecosystem. So the people that are related, the human element is in the acquisition, in the management, in the business, and in fundraising for the business.
Prof, freight, people, and tourism. And you mentioned the issue of PPP, private sector participation.
Yeah.
In doing all this, we should realize that we invest money to make money.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, today, you hardly find government at all levels investing with the view of giving it a lifespan, short period for it, call it gestation period, to be able to harness, to get profit. Today, on practical basis, you look at the Chris canals, and lagoons and what have you. What can really be done to mobilize and empower the people by the national and subnationals so that we'll get there? Today, we talk about inflation. It's a question of people don't have the necessary financial muscle to purchase.
Yeah.
So what can be done?
You see, we know, I mean, let me say that in this country, we always know what to do. It is the ability to throw our brain at it sufficiently to get the problem solved. I cannot expect, or we should not expect, the government to provide all the funds that are necessary. But it is the government that in its policy will create an enabling environment, the templates by which private, look at what LASWA did in Lagos, that many private investors are getting into ferry business on Lagos Waterway. Look at what the federal government did on communication. Nobody expects government to provide all the money. As long as it is business, if you make the environment
conducive.
Yes, people want to do business. Then people are living along that, like the joke. People will say that somebody came and said they discovered River Niger. They say, how about those who are living by the bank? So they've not seen it since they were born. The river where they are taking their bath. People, let me tell you, anywhere in the world, the river banks are the concentration of flora and fauna, animals and man, and vegetable. They all stay along
the banks.
Look, check all the geography of the world. River Nile, they will say if there is no Nile, there is no Egypt. If you see Mississippi, look, the river bank is where you have the largest concentration of plants, man, and animals. So by having a plan for that track, you are generating the economy of the rural areas. I will not be too bogus, but I will say that if you get the inland waterways working, 50% of the Akada riders in the city will not be here. Because by providing, for example, as we did for the industry, if you have a little plot of land, you go to the Bank of Agri, you can get your money and you can fund it. So you can do this and say, look, if you want to walk along Oshun, you want to walk along Ogun River, you want to walk at Adeja River, this plot of land is parceled out for you to do all sorts of agricultural resources. And we will dredge this so that you won't need to go and get a trailer to the pond. And then make also a road that will access the pond where the thing will be collected. So these are the things that government need to do. Get the stakeholders together. Sit them down. And by this, I'm challenging NIWA. The new MD, we have given him, personally, I said, well, it will take him some time to find his...
it's taking too long.
That is it.
It's taking too long.
It's now, it's definitely getting too long.
We've discussed that on this program. It's taking too long.
So it is...
The man should wake up.
That is it. It is time for him, if he needs to call a stakeholders meeting to address this matter in order to chart a new path for the Nigerian inland waterways. It is long overdue because we are not reinventing the wheel. There are models. We were speaking outside the camera. Somebody posted something about Morocco.
Yes.
So
my nephew went on all this to Morocco, and you find it very interesting.
And the river network they have inland is very, very minuscule
to compare with
when it compares to what we have in the country. So it is important for us. And two, their research R&D department, researcher, you see, because the problem with us in this country most of the time is that once we get something going, we don't feel like we want to take it further. Look at the phone when it started. The Caucasian race, that is the white race, I'm sorry to admit, and I'm ashamed to admit that, see how they've been researching. So they must have a very strong R&D department that will tell us, okay, this particular type of boat is not good for this type of season. We should go use a flatbed that will not need a big depth of river.
Okay, Prof. I've been told that our time is almost up.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, our time flies. We won't thank you.
I'm just beginning to warm up.
Oh, well, we come another day. So I want to thank you for finding time to come on this program.
Thank you.
Professor Samuel Gbadebo Odeunmi. It's always been a pleasure having you on set. Now, before we go, let me quickly tell them about this town hall meeting.
Yes.
By Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria, MARAN.
That's right.
As regards the reintroduction of international cargo tracking notes. It was an interesting town hall meeting. Transport Line was there. Let's have a clip of what happened.
The hullabaloo surrounding the reintroduction of the International Cargo Tracking Note, ICTN, in the Nigerian Maritime reached a crescendo last week at the town hall meeting organized by the Maritime Reporters Association of Nigeria, MARAN. The maritime stakeholders presented divergent views on the benefits and whether it is the panacea to many myriads of trade, cargo clearance, and security challenges, as well as who among government maritime agencies is best positioned to implement the ICTN. For those in support of the International Cargo Tracking Note, its reintroduction will provide comprehensive monitoring of all shipments into Nigeria, consequently curbing importation of illegal cargoes and increase revenue collection, amongst others. Dr. Segun Musa, a transportation consultant, described the reintroduction of the ICTN as an intellectual fraud that will increase cost of cargo clearance and make Nigeria ports the most expensive in West Africa. However, Comptroller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Adewale Adeniyi, allayed the negative fears of the reintroduction of ICTN. The CGC, represented by the Zone A Coordinator of Customs, ACG, Charles Obi, assured stakeholders that the cost associated with the ICTN will be offset by savings from reduced vessels dwelling time, demurrage charges, and more efficient ports operations. In the paper titled Proposed Cargo Tracking Note, a second look at critical stakeholders, the CGC disclosed that the CTN is lawful, citing the Section 28 of the Nigeria Customs Service Act of 2023, which explicitly empowers the NCS to develop and maintain electronic system of cargo clearance. Executive Secretary of Nigeria Shippers Council, Pius Akuta, represented by Celestine Akujobi, said the ICTN is in conformity with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development that advised the African Shippers Council to monitor cargo movement. He stated that the ICTN, a facilitation program, involves the CBN and the NCS. Akuta assured that the Shippers Council will maximize cost associated with ICTN because it is not a revenue generation scheme. As Nigeria moves to reintroduce the cargo tracking note, it is imperative to approach it devoid of political considerations but the genuine interest of Nigeria.
You welcome back. Well, we have to go now. Again, I thank Professor Odeunmi for finding time to be on set. But remember, yeah, they say Ramadan is here, Lent is here. But I tell you, even before Ramadan and Lent, the good Lord, the Supreme Creator says you must be compassionate. And that's the key word. Have that compassion for your fellow human beings. Be compassionate. Till next time, bye-bye for now.